Nobody's built as a perfect businessman. Not even Elon Musk.
No. Especially Elon Musk.
Yeah, precisely. He made a lot of failures also that people don't like to mention. So I think ultimately, should you be going depends on your emotional attachment and your meaning behind what you're trying to build. It's very important.
We got it next. That's how you finesse. We come for they next.
Hey, welcome to the Sales Point. I'm Jerry. This is Dennis. Today we have a very special episode.
Special episode.
Is
A motivating one.
It's motivating. Yeah, it's about perseverance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never give up.
Yeah. Should I continue? Should I keep on? Should I keep going?
Precisely.
Yeah, that's the subject of today's episode.
Yes.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
There are things that you
Out
should.
of your control.
No. There are things that you shouldn't continue doing. You need to evaluate things. So please, Danny, in your expertise, give me your opinion. Should I keep going?
I think it always comes down to, like you said, it's the situation, right? It's the project. It's what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you what you're doing? And since this is business, we keep it business for now. But it is a matter of why are you doing it? So whatever your project is, why are you doing it? That would be the biggest trigger to whether or not you should continue. The second one I would say is, can you live off it with the time that you're investing into it?
Yeah.
And that would be the next one to say, should I keep going? Because my first thing is always, if it's an emotional tie, even then you have to evaluate, is it worth continuing investing that kind of time and emotions and all the things that we business people put into our babies, which they are. And I think it's just figuring out, is it really worth the outcome that I'm putting in?
Yeah.
So at first, you shouldn't, I would say if you have something, I want to start something, you say in 3 months, should I really do it? I would say if you're already doubting it that early, you should get out of it. If you start doubting it 6 months, 8 months, year, 10 years into it, then you probably need to have a brainstorm over whether it's worth continuing the process.
I have the idea that everything should be evaluated, no?
Continuously.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as when you work for somebody. You have every 3rd month or every 6 months, you have this evaluation period of, should we keep working together? This is the same.
Yeah, you do that?
No, we don't.
Asshole.
We really don't. I really don't. But a lot of big companies do it, and I think certain small ones might do it. We did every other week. I had personal conversations with the people that worked with us to have an understanding of how they're doing personally, and then after we figure out, okay, if there's no issues professionally, there's no real reason to keep discussing it. But I've used some of these conversations to also figure out what's the future.
So, those invisible walls that you have, that you can have or might have in a project, after you evaluate all of them, then you gotta decide if those walls are something that you really can handle. For example, you're starting an online casino. The first wall is getting a freaking license.
I would say the first thing is to get some money.
Of course, but let's say you have the money.
Then the license.
Then the license. That's a major wall because
then
it's
before
not
that-
only about paying license.
But even before that, you need also to look at the software.
Yeah.
And then you have to start planning the marketing.
Yep.
And then you have to probably hire a few people also for AML. You need to find AML. You need to find payment
Security.
processing, banking.
Servers, secure servers and shit.
No, but I think it's the same as in marathon, right? No race usually is a sprint. It's a marathon. And in marathon, I've heard that, because I don't run, which means that I heard people talk about these invisible walls you meet during that race, where most people give up.
Yep.
They hit them and they like it smacked them like you're running into a brick wall. Same thing.
I think the major issue that people that is watching or possibly watching this, mom, sister, mother-in-law,
Gray gold.
yeah, um, is the money. I think that's the biggest wall for
I
everybody
remember-
starting.
I remember when I started, everything that I started after the first game and I did, everything was pending on money, which I
money,
didn't
money.
have. So I had a bunch of good ideas that I've seen worked out for other people that came a little later than me, but I didn't have the money. They found the money. They found a way. I let myself stop from maybe the worry. I wanted to get the money by myself, which meant there was only one person that could pour in the effort, the time, and the money, which made most of my ideas never come true. So yeah, money is a big thing.
I was starting a project once. It was a t-shirts brand, and the money wasn't the issue. I calculate everything that I could, and all the numbers, everything was like correct for me, and I was so sure that everything was going to be okay, and then I got scammed.
Ah, shit.
I lost part of the money. Suddenly, it was a wall that I wasn't
Prepare for.
prepared for, and then I decided that I shouldn't keep going because it was impossible for me. Yeah, I can build a website. I had the most of the articles and machines and everything to create the T-shirts. I had the designs. I had everything, but I had zero for marketing. Zero.
Because you got scammed. Which also means you visually saw if I have to do it again and if in any way I get scammed,
Again,
I'm done.
It was impossible for me to get scammed again because I had no money to invest. Zero.
Yeah, that's unlucky. That's the case, right? Because we went through it also with C4G. Is I went a little crazy and I bought a lot of products that we're now stuck with. But I don't regret anything. It's a process, and it gave us, ideas to do something else. And I think that's the process. But I'm also the lucky one. I have the money to lose them. If people don't have the money to lose them,
No.
they're done.
I was fucked up,
yeah.
bruh.
But then-
Crying in the shadows.
But then it ends there, and that's the sad part. Actually started a T-shirt brand as well. I wanted to. I was talking to all these distributors in Denmark. I talked to everything. I had everything ready too. Then I started making, the endpoints meet. And then because I wanted to create it in Europe, I wanted to work with Danish distributors and T-shirts and shit and the printing and everything. And then I started seeing if I do that, I can't make a profit.
Yeah.
And then I got one created that was complete shit. And after that, I gave up. I just said, no, this is too much work, too much effort. And I don't have that major funding at that point. So I just said, this is not worth my time. So I gave up. I gave up. And I'm not proud of it, but it led to something else.
I don't know. Somebody touched my chair. It's uncomfortable as fuck today.
Weird. I haven't seen that.
Well,
Should you keep going?
yeah.
No, but I think that, failure is part of the process. And not everybody is ready for the slap that it's going to be. Some people take a pause and, start thinking things through. Some people give up. Some people just say, I don't give a shit what hits me. I'm going to... And it's different methods for different people. And we all make mistakes. And that's the point. Even if you have that... You might be wrong in doing that. But the more you hit, you might start thinking, okay, let me take a step back. And then you start becoming, more thoughtful and thinking about the processes. And then you become a different one. And then you start succeeding. I think nobody's built as a perfect businessman, not even Elon Musk.
No. Especially Elon Musk.
Yeah, precisely. He made a lot of failures also that people don't like to mention. So I think ultimately, should you be going depends on your emotional attachment and your meaning behind what you're trying to build. It's very important. If you're building it, like I saw this episode on Netflix of this resurrect version of Pimp My Ride. And this guy had this really ugly car, but it was his grandmother's. His grandmother gave it to him, so he was invested 110%, maybe more, into that. Who am I to say, hey, this is an ugly ass car, you should go for a newer car and yada yada yada? No, that one has he has emotional attachment to that car.
Yeah.
And then he should be doing what he does. And then when it starts failing, then you can start saying, okay, maybe now I can reconsider and find something else.
Yeah, but it might be too late. Maybe maybe you're losing money, all your capital, shit.
Of course.
If you don't
Of
give
course.
up before,
But then you can say, was it worth
it's
the
always
ride?
a risk.
Yeah, but was it worth the ride then? If it's worth the ride, it was worth the investment, it was worth the time. And if you're then at a situation where it ends up a little unlucky for you, if you can look back at that, maybe that positivity you had from that can be what pushes you forward through the bad times like we all had. You have I would say in your adult years, you had worse than me. So you didn't give up. You pulled through. What made you pull through?
Wow. A lot of things, but really, really, really just a few. My family, maybe.
Who wasn't even in the same country or the same continent.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess that also it comes with the education I had.
Which you have a few of.
Yeah, no, but what I mean education is what I
experience?
learned. Yes, what I learned also from my family, from my grandpas especially.
There you go.
They were entrepreneurs. They went to a new country. They were fucked up. They start from scratches, and they did it.
There you go.
They made it.
There you go.
It was another time, other days, different situation, but yeah, difficulty has increased in the last 60 years a lot. But I guess that there is still a way. It's like when you play a video game and you choose the difficulty
the next
level,
level, the
easy, normal, hard, extreme.
Yeah.
Well, they play normal. Now we're playing in extreme probably, or maybe not. Maybe it's hard, and in the future will really be extreme. But people our age usually, back in the, I don't know, 80s, 70s, people our age used to have their own houses,
That's true. That's
cars,
true.
family, kids, everything.
I've pissed away a lot of that in my life.
Yeah.
I've had, in the last 12 years I've been self-employed, I pissed away a lot of money, and I've really made a lot of money. And because of stupidity in certain ways, it's been, whether it's been drinking, partying, phones, new stuff like that, or it's just been stupidity in not checking the finances and, stay on top of those things, has definitely cost me millions of euros.
Not trusting Jerry in the math of the commissions.
No, but you have those things that throughout life you learn from. And again, for me, it's not the same. I didn't really have any family members that went through life successful in that sense. I don't remember my mom's dad much. I don't remember my mom's mom at all. Never seen anybody from my dad's side. My mom wasn't an entrepreneur.
Well, your uncle, he was
Late. He used to work in like Burger Kings and airport and stuff like that till he got his idea of the bags to protect throughout traveling. My mom never really had the entrepreneurmanship or whatever you want to call it in her, but she had the knit and grit. She worked hard. She worked through everything. She had issues with her life and drinking and whatnot, but she
Everybody has that.
persevered through just pure stubbornness, I guess. I think that's the thing I got that has helped me throughout life is stubbornness. Just I'm not
very
listening to
stubborn.
anybody. I don't give a shit what anybody says, and I just keep
That's
going.
a problem if you are saying that 2 + 2 is 5, and somebody else is telling you that it's 4, and you don't want to listen.
Mathematically, it actually can be 5. I've Googled it.
Okay.
So 2 + 2, you should
Yeah, I
be 2
gotta
+
deal
2
with
is
that every
6.
day.
2 + 2 is 6. Then you can get it. No, but I understand, and I think that I've had that throughout my whole professional career. I've had the stubbornness also on the negative side, where I haven't listened to people, I haven't done certain things, and I have ignored a lot of maybe good advice at the moment where I should have listened to. But as I'm getting older, I'm seeing it differently now. I'm still stubborn in many ways, but I'm starting to try and see other people's perspective and other people's words a little more to because I started realizing, I'm not always right. I'm not always perfect. But other people have opinions. Other people have.
I know.
Some people are just clever in certain ways than me. For example, social media. I am no good at that. In any form or way, maybe analytically I can be good, but actually executing, no. I have no idea what I'm doing. So in that way, you have to listen to that person that had that experience. And when it comes to marketing, SEO-wise, I don't know much. But I know some, and I learned some, and I read some. But that doesn't make me an expert, so you probably listen to that person. And financially, you see, okay, if you're losing $12,000 a month, it's not sustainable, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to say, okay, what can I do to fix that? And when it comes to certain things where I'm maybe not 100% focused more anymore, let's say sales-wise, I probably should listen to words there once in a while because you have other engagements, but you also have other responsibilities, and maybe you're just stronger at something else now. You might have been amazing at sales 10 years ago, but now you're better at product development. You're better at development in physical way. You're better at drawing. I don't know, whatever.
I'm better at playing video games and sleeping.
Sleeping, yes.
I'm not better on video games?
Minecraft, yes. Fortnite, no. Rocket League, no. The Forest, yes.
I'm better on Rocket League than what I was 6 years ago.
The aerospace game we played, you're better at that because
Sky.
you have another way to deep in emotionally in these games than I do. Rocket League and Fortnite, I'm more committed. I think shooting games generally I'm better.
Yeah, but it's because
building and more
competitive games doesn't have that emotional link that I like
and
in games.
I can't live without it.
And you like the competitiveness, and I like the emotional link. That, for example, my favorite game ever is Metal Gear. I will say it's a tough competition between Metal Gear and Final Fantasy VIII, but Metal Gear Solid, I will say, is my favorite video game. And
mine is Age of Empires. But again, I didn't like the competitiveness in that because people are way too crazy at that game. I don't really understand how people can be so good at that. I thought I was good at it. You and me smacked some people once.
Yeah, we smacked 3 people.
And then we started getting
4.
And then we went online and we got smacked by anybody. I never won a game online. Never. I got smacked every time. Somehow they just knew how to.
It happened to me also, not only with Age of Empires, but with the Lord of the Rings, the
Battle of the Middle-earth.
Battle of the Middle-earth 2. I used to play because I didn't have money to buy new games, and I had a pirate version of that video game, and then I used to play that shit like 6-7 hours daily. I sometimes elaborate social defenses that I went to sleep. I wake up at the next day, the following day, and I'm still alive,
I tried that with Ark. No. There was always some guy who came in and just smashed everything. You wake up, you're like, I wasted a week on this, and I'm like, no, I'm leaving. Peace. But then I started becoming the mercenary, as we call it, between you and me. I started going to servers just to ruin it for everybody else. I just went in there to kill people.
Yeah?
Yeah, just to piss people off.
For the PvP?
Yeah. Just for PvP. I just went in, tried to piss people off, and then I left, went to another server. Just for the shits and giggles. Just because I got annoyed that people kept, messing up but you play PvP, you get what you want. But the problem with Ark for me was that when you play the non-PvP, it was like, because everybody's building everywhere and you can't destroy anything. So even in the furthest area, somebody could just put one little plate of something and you can't build.
Yeah.
Which is annoying.
We can create a server if we had a couple of people more, maybe Mickey can.
Mark?
Yeah, the thing is, the idea is you have 2 weeks to build everything, fortresses, get your dinos.
So 2
and
weeks
then,
of non-VP.
yes,
And then
and
you build
then
your PP.
PvP.
No, but it's the same thing as in business. You have to evaluate your time. Is it worth it? Like when you waste, it's not waste. It's the same thing as I always say. You haven't lost any money in crypto till you sell it, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with this. You haven't wasted time till you give up. Once you give up, you wasted time. Because if it wasn't worth the time, it's wasted. And that goes for anything in any part of life that you have. You should always evaluate the time you spend on something when you want to give up.
Crypto is a good example. Now that you mentioned, let's say I buy, I don't know, X coin at $1, and in 6 months it costs $2. Should I sell? Should I keep it? Will it keep going up?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Will it go down?
My point with this always is that you have to evaluate. I would say for me, the way I looked at crypto when I invested into it is, I only put in money I could afford to lose because it's so volatile.
I never liked crypto. Never as an investment. I love crypto as a
Well, there's more to crypto than
way
what
of
people
paying.
think. There's the blockchain, which is
Yeah.
the back end, the engine of everything. No, but at the end of the day, I would say for me, with the blockchain is that people have to differentiate between those two. So the investment or money you can invest into cryptocurrencies is a separate situation. It has nothing to do with the blockchain. And the blockchain creates so much more of the future. VR is part of that because it's built online. There is a different way to do computing and stuff like that. But the cryptocurrency is the one that is volatile.
If there is someone or somebody writing in the Twitch chat, you should check because the producer is busy and she cannot check. I think that also you got to evaluate the economical aspect. Then you need to expect the unexpected. For example, that you can get scammed, that you can break your knee tomorrow, that you can have a car accident. Oh,
No, but that's the same thing, right? Once you do something,
who the fuck is thinking about dying? Nobody, but
I think you should consider it in
but
some
that shit
way.
happens.
Yeah, but that's the same thing as what you're doing right now. Is that worth dying for? And I'm not saying you're going to go into work and die for that job particularly, but if you die tomorrow, would you be happy with your life? Anything you invest time on, you should always evaluate.
You can
is
join the
worth it.
Ukrainian army and go to the war against Russia.
I'd-
You should evaluate at least the possibility of dying.
Of course. If you don't think, hey, I might die, you're not doing it properly.
Yeah.
And once you get shot, you're going to probably cry like a little baby girl.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But I think really that's again the emotional tie with things. When you create your own product, you should be emotional and attached to it. I've seen these groups that I've been a member of in Facebook for a while, where they're basically asking the group, what should I sell? What should I call it? What color should I have this? And I'm like, you're trying to build a product that you're not even building. You're technically getting somebody else to tell you what to do. People are using ChatGPT to do it as well. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is wrong with you? That is not your idea, and you can never sell it because you don't have the tie to it. You don't have the love for it. You don't have that passion to say, I want this to succeed. People who do that only want one thing. They want money. And I promise you, when it fails, they're going to run away fast. They're not going to say, should I keep going? No, they're going to be like, this wasn't worth it. But people like us who build something that we believe in, kind of like your watch idea. Your watch idea was a grasp for trying to find
Yeah,
some
of
money.
course.
There was no passion.
No.
There's just hopes and dreams and goals and
Yep.
whatever. But with what we're building, let's say,
you know why?
with SNS, then it's different.
It's different. But you know what happened with why the watches? I don't know why I got convinced by one of those YouTube, Instagram cults of you should do drop shipping and you should do this. And if you create a website like this, you will have this amount of visitors every month. And so this will be the
In
sales.
6 months, you have 10,000 a month.
Yeah, it's shit like that. And yeah, I was in a very shitty position in that moment. I
know,
was very
I
fucked
know.
up.
So you were desperate.
Yes, yes. So if you are desperate, consider the fact that you're desperate before
Yeah.
starting a project or continuing.
Self-realization to I know that I'm desperate. Should probably, reconsider this. No, but you should always have that in mind when you start something. Like, am I desperate? Because if you're desperate, you're going to make a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah, of course.
Like the esports team that we're, talking to.
Yeah.
Very desperate. They might make a lot of bad decisions.
They might be watching.
No, but at the end of the day, desperation is a bad situation to be in. To make any form of decisions in your life,
No,
whether it's professional or personal, you should always realize I am desperate, and then think, okay, I can still reconsider, and I can still have a thought about, is this correct?
You know that I have a master degree in
Desperation?
In desperation, yeah. Get desperate.
The desperado professor.
Yeah, Thea says that it's 250 if you can pay.
What?
Let me see.
When you were desperate,
Yeah.
what did you do? Like, what made you come there, and what made you try to continue?
Dude, it's a lot of people just go and because I did shit that I am not proud of, and a lot of people came after that and pointed at me and told me, "You did this, you did that," and yeah, some of those things I did, not everything, but the thing is that they don't understand the
No,
situation.
I know. I don't even
You-
understand
you-
it. I've never been that deep.
Yeah, of course. You are alone in a country that is not yours. You have no job. You have no friends. You have no house. You are on the street because, yeah, you got fucked up and suddenly you were in bankruptcy. You have massive debts, and you have a family that is very fucked up in a
That
third
needs your
world
help.
country that needs my help. So they cry and shit. What should I do? Should I suicide? Should I?
That's the easy way, right?
Easy
But you're
for
still
who?
well. It's easy for you. Everybody else will take the hit of it.
Yeah, of
and
course.
then the desperation will still be there.
Yeah. So yeah, I got desperate and I started doing businesses that I shouldn't. It is
Well, I
what it
wouldn't
is.
say not do it, but I would say maybe consider who you're doing with. But
Yeah.
that's a different thing.
Yeah. I already explained this in previous episodes. So watch them complete the 4 hours one and shit.
We
so you
need
will
it.
find it. So not only that, then I remember I was in Switzerland and I was fucked up. I got scammed, and I didn't even have the money to go back to Spain. So yeah, I survived. Why did I survive? I don't know, dude. It is like, yes, besides my family that they needed my help, I felt I always had that spark, that small feeling that I was going to be able to hit it out of the stadium at any moment. At any moment.
I think you have to have that little spark.
I always
to
I always
manage
have it.
anything, you have to
I
have a little
still
spark.
feel it.
Yeah, I still have it. I have
So-
some bad days, so I get it.
So I think that dreaming about those things kept me going also.
Okay. What about tell us about the feeling once you get there? At least to some extent, you might not have hit all your goals, but you asked yourself, should I keep going? You decided to keep going. How does it feel to be here?
I have asked myself only once, maybe twice, since I am working here with you, if I should keep going. And the reason has nothing to do with money and has nothing to do with environment or anything. It's more or less that I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, and
You want to create something that's yours.
and I want to create something that is mine, or
Of course.
I want to be
An integral.
yes,
integral
a
part of it.
co-owner of the
Yes.
project I'm working for, because I always had this issue with authority, and the issue of, hey, I'm not I'm
Not
not
listening,
going.
yeah.
Yes, I'm not gonna work for your dreams.
While my dreams just disappear.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, I gotta work for my dreams also, and since I became a co-owner of Fasto, that feeling, well, I'm not telling you now that we signed. I'm telling you already 2 years ago. That feeling didn't disappear completely.
Of course not.
But got calm, and now I had a conversation with you a couple of weeks, a month ago or something, and I told you that I want to start something that you are part of it, that Fasto is part of it, but in that branch, wing of Fasto, I will have the decision power, the decision making. So I will be able to work with my own ideas. I might not be correct in my
Well,
ideas.
you never know. I
But
think as you grow with life, you also change.
yeah, I might not be correct in my ideas, but at
No.
least I know what
You-
not to do.
Well, I think you have to. I think it's like a little kid, right? Or an animal. You figure out, okay, if I go that one again, I'm gonna get electrocuted. I
Yeah.
walk that way, I'm gonna hit into a glass. You start figuring out, okay, maybe I shouldn't go that way.
Yeah, this is trial and error for me. And one of the things that, for example, I have been very pushy about it to you is I don't want to run a business without a license. That for me is essential. If I cannot manage to get a license for the business I want to start, I won't start it. I will start considering a different idea.
Maybe
that
that's
is
always the case
That is
also.
my invisible wall right now.
Don't go into anything that is not correct.
Yes, I want to do it 100% correctly,
Or not at all.
or not doing it at all, and that everybody should do it.
Of course.
because
I agree
because
with that.
there
Even
are
desperation doesn't mean that you can just bend any rule. to
there
your
are
own
no easy
advantage.
way outs.
No.
It is like a criminal wakes up every morning, turns on a cigarette, and starts thinking immediately how he's gonna make some money. And that money won't be legit. I mean, how he's gonna screw somebody to make some money. And that criminal needs to be lucky, always, to not get caught. The police officer needs to get lucky only once
Yes.
to catch him.
But he needs to be lucky every day.
But the criminal needs to be lucky every day. That's not no life. So
I also think life rewards the people that work hard and that really invest what they need to invest. It's not about money, it's about you. I think life rewards it. Whether you fail or you succeed, you get some kind of reward. Like I always say, with a good deed is what do you call it? Self act. Like you're doing it for you also.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
feel good.
Yeah.
You feel good by doing something else for other people.
Yep.
So it's not a selfless act. It's actually selfish. So I think that in life you just have to find some kind of reward in what you do. But do it right.
Yeah. The other thing that I learned is tell me who you are with, and I will tell you who you are.
Who
If
you
you
associate with, yeah.
if you surrounded yourself with shitty people, sadly, the world that is very opinionated, especially
Social
nowadays,
media.
social media. But I'm
Sure.
talking about everything. They will see you as one of them.
Of course. Like when I went out with Tinder, we went to Deja Vu here,
Yeah.
and he started sitting with this wannabe gangster.
Yeah. In
You
here.
Yeah. He left me behind. So I was talking to these random Estonian dudes. You start thinking, what an asshole. Not only because of the act, but the person he was with was really also looking weird at me and stuff like that. Like, it's my fucking friend. If I want to talk to him, I'm gonna fucking talk to him.
Yeah, of
But he
course.
started giving me weird looks and shit like that, and apparently talking smack to Tinder about me. I'm like,
He
what
just
the
wanted
fuck
to
is wrong
fight
with
or
you?
something.
Yeah, probably.
And you were drunk, so you wanted to fight too.
No, but it's like that's precisely the case, right? You start thinking, what an asshole. And people that saw him, maybe for some, let's say women, they think, oh, he's dangerous because you hang out around with them. Even though you could be the biggest pussy, but if you hang around the biggest gangster or whatever, you're going to get, that reflects on you as well. So it's the same, I think.
I think that the last thing that also keeps me in here is I don't know if I should call it friendship or loyalty, but for me that's something very important.
Loyalship.
Yeah, is I don't know, dude. I have been through a lot of shit in the last 5 years. You have always been there with me. The company has always supported me, so I own it. I think you also have been through a lot of shit in the last 5 years. I won't say things, but a blonde girl has something to do with it, and a blonde little kid also. And I have always been there for you. So I think somehow, as we have not precisely the same background, but kind of similar situations in life,
And we have similar personalities because of that.
more or less, yes. I think that this has been a very easygoing position for me. So, yeah, I became a little bit lazier. I became a little bit slower.
Well, I think you can afford
but-
being lazier when you actually create some kind of results. If you
But
don't
I
create the
created
results,
the results,
and you
yeah.
become lazy, then it doesn't work.
That was another mistake I used to make. I became lazier before the results. No, not in here. In here, I made the money first, then I became lazier. But every time we consider that, math is not going well, the line is going down, then I just start working very, very hard again.
Yeah, I think you have to find that balance. That
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with being lazy. I think lazy can be very productive at most times because when you're lazy, you might find better solutions, better ways to process certain things and make things move the way you want it to move. So I think the problem is that you get it too early.
Yeah.
Or you have it too much. Like, if you're lazy, let's say 3 hours a day out of a fucking 10-hour workday, I don't see the problem. Because
So-
you might actually still be productive in a way when you are. But if you're, lazy 7 hours out of 10, I don't think that's very productive.
So
at any
first thing, should I keep going or not? Money.
Yep.
That's something to evaluate. The second thing is the possible and the unexpected obstacles. You need to expect always the unexpected. You need to take everything into consideration.
You
And
know,
the
you
third
know how
one
I
is
actually built that in my life?
What?
When I was with my ex, every time I knew a discussion was coming, I was already planning it in my head, and it never went the way I wanted it to
No.
do. But I was always prepared for it. If it did, I had you. I was gonna win.
You know who
Every
that-
other time I would lose.
You know who do that always?
What?
Atenea.
Okay, yeah. I had that.
She planifies the
Yeah.
speech.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this, this,
And
this,
then he's gonna say that, and then
then-
I'm gonna say this, and then I win.
Yeah, but it never happened. Then the third thing is the self-motivation.
Oh yeah.
How motivated are you to continue?
I would say that comes with the emotional tie
Yes.
usually also.
Yes. Do this project of you,
Doesn't matter.
it matters that much to you? I mean,
Why did you create it?
yeah. If you do things only for money,
I don't think it's longevity.
you might succeed.
Unless you get a
Well-
massive amount of money. But those are also the people that probably sells early. Because the
Yes.
people with the emotional tie will be there to defend their product in any horrific situation. But the people that are there for the money, you can buy them out early because they want the money and they don't always see the value.
I'm gonna check with data. There was this Venezuelan guy that went to Spain, I don't know, 20 years ago or something, and he created a restaurant named Goico's Grill.
Okay.
This Venezuelan guy became very famous. His hamburgers became
Nice.
very famous,
I
and
love that.
And suddenly he received the funding to open like, I don't know, 200, 300 more places all around Spain. So it became probably the biggest Spanish franchise. And then,
But look at Sarah also.
yeah, but I'm talking about this specific case because after a while, a Swiss fund made
Bought it.
him an offer.
Yeah.
And he was in this situation. I saw an interview with him. He was in this situation. Should I keep going? Should I sell? And after evaluating, he sold the company.
And it became
No, he sold. He became massively millionaire, but he sold the company
right before it blew up.
keeping
No?
one thing.
Okay.
If I want to start a branch
Franchise. Okay.
of this company, not a franchise.
Not a franchise.
It was a franchise already,
Okay.
but
Oh,
a
he wants to
branch.
do similar or.
Yes. So he created, thanks to this clause, he created something named Basics by Goikos. Has nothing to do with Goikos. Is the Goikos owner. Goikos Grill nowadays is fucked up. The fund, they just want to get the money. The ingredients of the hamburgers now
Less
are
and less,
shitty,
yeah.
and the sauces are shitty.
Yeah.
But if you go to Basics by Goikos,
It's better.
it's amazing.
Okay.
Not only that,
He kept the passion and the love for it.
yes,
Wow.
he kept the passion, the love.
Whereas
because,
they kept the money.
yes, but also he received millions of euros.
I get it.
Okay, I was trying to check the amount, but I know it was massive.
I heard a similar story of the guy behind Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, but that guy killed himself.
I know. That's the point. He came to the same. Should I keep going or should I sell?
Yeah,
he
he
decided to sell it. I think it was 5 million or something.
15 million, I
And
think. Yeah.
and it was 5 years later, 10 years
Yeah,
later.
5 years
it was
later.
worth 500 million. And he killed himself.
He killed himself. Yeah,
That's crazy. He's a millionaire.
but
He had that. The only reason you can do that is because you love what you do or what you
it
did.
depends also who.
And maybe you didn't
who
get the
am I
right
selling?
clauses.
Who
Yes.
am I selling the
Yes.
company to?
Of
For
course,
example,
there's no guarantees that if I buy a shoe from you, that shoe is gonna make me score a hat trick tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if you had it, it might have done. But it doesn't it doesn't work
But
like that.
let's say you sell me. I am a millionaire. I have 50 million in my hand, and I buy Fasto from you.
Mm-hmm.
If you sell me Fasto, you know that I am very passionate about
know.
the payments industry.
But the next guy.
But no. I will buy it for me.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Then
Where's the document?
Yeah. Then
Give me the money.
you gotta think, hey, this guy is passionate about this.
Mm-hmm.
Probably I can sell 90%
I would
of my
love-
shares and keep
I get it.
10%
Yeah,
for
because
myself.
if he succeeds.
Because this guy is gonna continue the work. He's yeah,
And you can be part of it still.
of course. But if I am selling or you are selling to a trust fund,
They're gonna go for the money.
they
Any way to make
they
easy
don't
money.
give a fuck about the business, the industry. So you better sell it complete.
No, but that's the same thing. I think when you're selling something, you should, if you're really passionate about it, maybe you should figure out who am I selling to and why.
Yeah.
Again, if you're selling to a trust fund where you know it's going to get milked,
Mm-hmm.
or you're selling it to maybe like you said, somebody who had a company that he sold to a trust fund or whatever, and now he's looking for another passion project and he pays less, but he wants to keep you involved maybe, then you think, hey, I can still be part of this in one way or another. Like you said, you can get a clause for, if it's food, you can say, okay, if I want to build one restaurant or maybe 10, let's say there's a cap on it, but I want to do it as a passion project and keep my food alive, then you're still a part of it. You're still there and you can still do what you love to do.
The guy sold.
And you're not a competitor
The
person.
guy sold everything, 100% of it, but
That clause meant
but
that he could,
in that clause,
as long as he still kind of linked back as like a backlink
he
or
can
brand.
have he can use sort of the brand name to continue his legacy somewhere else.
I think that's amazing. That's clever.
Yeah, it's like you sell Fasto. and you are a
And
cloud.
tomorrow I'm like, fuck, I want to do payment processing.
No. You want to do chargeback prevention.
I am.
And then you create something like Safo by Fasto. You can use the brand.
True.
Something like that.
I wouldn't.
No. This industry is very, very complicated
True.
and fucked up.
But I think
That's the reason I like it.
yeah. But in regards to should I keep going, I think that those 3 reasons alone should give you a good overview of should I or
Yeah.
shouldn't I.
By the way, did you change the title of the Twitch stream and the category?
The category is right. The title is right too.
Oh, okay.
2 dudes rocking.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I think that you need to do these because nobody can take a decision for you.
No.
They can try, and a lot of people will be because, like you said, a lot of people are very opinionated. But I really do think that it's a decision you should take a walk over. Like last time I went to Sweden to be with my son, I sat in a cab for 45 minutes, and those 45 minutes I wrote down 30 to 40 different things that I needed to do because I had the time to think. You need to do that before making big decisions of something if it matters to you. If it doesn't matter to you, I would say you shouldn't go. Just let it go. Let somebody else pick up the idea, and they will do it with passion, with love, and they will drive it to somewhere as far as they can go.
I will say, just to finish,
Because we need to eat.
yeah, no, because also we're over time. That the last thing will be the advices. Should I listen to this guy that told me this or that guy that told me that? That's very, very tricky.
Yes, it is.
Because if the person that
Means well.
that not only that, because my
Yeah, but
dad,
there's a lot of toxic.
my dad
Opinions.
or my mom or anybody from my family, even you, I'm telling you, hey, Dennis, let's go for a license. And you say, no, because of this, and that. And in my opinion, you're wrong. In your opinion, you're right. And you know more or less about the subject. I know more or less about the subject. So you are meaning well, telling me that.
Of course.
You're meaning well. But I don't know, I'm stubborn, or I really consider that I am right. So it's not that I don't listen to your advice. I take it.
You should.
I take your advice, but then I start planifying
Analyzing,
to expect the unexpected.
Yes.
Because
Then you
thanks
know.
to his advice, I know that I need to expect the unexpected again. That's one thing. The other thing is, don't listen to, I don't know, brother-in-law advices. Brother-in-law
No.
advices,
Family.
hey,
I would
I
say-
read this online that your business is shit. You shouldn't continue with that.
I would say
Fuck it.
don't listen to. I would say when people go ask family, think about it. And in Danish, we have a way of saying it. I would say look at it like with a grain of salt, which means that if they say, "Ooh, I will buy it, I will do that," they probably won't. Or they will
Also-
try to start in asking with discounts, but that doesn't mean that you can't believe that what they're saying, that they believe in you and they believe in the product. That doesn't mean that. So you kind of have to figure out what's the positive here and what is the most, I would say, legit, what makes most sense. So if this is my mom and she says, you should do it, you're amazing at everything, maybe not the best point to go by.
Also, the so-called experts or the experts. I'm going to give you a choice or a situation. In one hand, you have a surgeon, a local surgeon from your country. He's not famous, but he's like in his 40s, so he has experience. He checked on you and he said, hey, you need a surgery for this. But it's nothing to worry. And in the other hand, you have the top one, the number one surgeon in the planet, that he made you a video consultation.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells you that
You don't have to do
that
shit.
you don't that you shouldn't do that. Who do you listen to? The one that checks on you in person,
Of course.
and has experience, or the one that is through the screen? That's very important to understand, because if an expert tells you, do this or don't do this, you don't know the intentions of that expert. So if you know him in person, if it's close to you, if he has a good reputation, then listen to him. But if he is in YouTube, even if he's
Or
the
if you're
number one
if you're
expert in the
Googling,
planet,
what is this on my leg?
Yes.
It comes up in cancer.
you
which it
shouldn't
does.
pay
No.
attention to the guy on the screen. The guy on the screen will tell you whatever to sell something, or to not even selling, just to keep or to be loyal to his ideals. He will tell you whatever. So if you listen to an expert and you want to take the advice of an expert, it got to be somebody that you trust somehow, that you know in person, that is there for you. I remember a case. Do you remember when I was working with the software for crypto, for investments, Forex and crypto?
Yeah.
Okay. I was working for Wheat, a software for crypto investments and actual stock investments. This software, they take via an API all the data from the markets in United States, Europe, Asia, and the prices that you're watching are real, in real time, because it comes from an API, from a source. And when you go to a platform to invest in the money, the platform tells you that you are actually buying Amazon stocks or Apple or Bitcoin or whatever. But in reality, that's a business model named the market maker. In reality, you are not buying Amazon stocks, even that you think that.
You're
in
buying
reality,
them at cost?
Huh?
You're just buying cost?
Yes, you're just buying cost. So the money goes to the owner of the website, and if you win, the owner of the website pays you. If you lose, the owner of the website makes money. It has nothing to do with Amazon, with Apple, or the stock market. I remember this guy I met in Barcelona. I told him. He told me that he was giving up, he was quitting his job after 20 years, and all his savings, his life saving, more than 60,000 euros, he was investing into one of these websites. And I went to him and told him, dude, you are wrong. If you want to invest in Amazon stock, go to your bank and do it via your bank. Don't trust
Randoms.
websites.
Yeah.
Don't trust random stock brokers or whatever. Because if you lose, your bank can sell the stock and give you the rest of the money.
But here you lose your
But if
complete-
you lose into one of
You
those
lose
platforms,
everything.
you lose everything. He told
So
me.
it's betting.
He told me that he checked with an expert in YouTube, and the expert even invited him to a Discord, and he was talking to this guy in Discord every day, and he was totally blind. He quit his job. I met him again 3 months after,
Broke.
and he was totally broke. Even that I told him,
Don't do it.
don't do it.
But he decided to ignore it because he felt like there was somebody
Yes.
better knowledgeable to give advice.
So watch out with advices. Listen carefully. Don't trust the people away, the screen, and always ask for a second opinion.
Always.
Because you have your family doctor or your surgeon that he checks you in person, and you have the one on the screen telling you different things, go to a third one.
Yes, for sure. Tiebreaker.
Yes, go to a tiebreaker. I think if after all those things, evaluating money, the expecting the unexpected, the walls, the obstacles, evaluating the motivations and the advices. With those
should be good.
4 things, you should be able to take a decision. Should I continue or not?
Should I just let it go?
Or should I just let it go?
Perfect. Then we have that.
Yeah.
Time for a water break.
It's time for a water break.
Well, it's the end of the episode.
It's the end of this episode, but for those that are live on Twitch, we're going to
Water
record
break.
another podcast in 5 minutes, more or less, 10 minutes. We're going to drink water and eat some food.
Yes.
So stay here, watching the fire. We will be back in a moment. Thank you for watching. Those that were watching via
Comment.
YouTube,
I'd rather want
remember
people to
share.
comment so we actually have something to go by. But
Yeah.
if you don't, like, share, follow.
Like, share, follow, comment.
Preferably.
It will be very nice for me because I think for us, because yes, he has his experiences, I have mine. It will be very nice if you can share your experience about
Precisely.
if you stopped or continue a business and it went wrong or it went amazing against all odds.
Precisely.
So it will be very nice to know, to meet more experience. Actually, I am willing to invite to one of our episodes.
To the Discord. No, just kidding.
via
Yeah, I know,
Discord.
but it's just a joke because of the
One-
Forex bullshit.
One of the real entrepreneurs that want to share their
Of course,
expertise.
of course.
So
We're always looking for real voices.
yeah, thank you for watching. Stay in here, Twitch. We're continuing in 10 minutes.
We got it next. That's how you finesse.